Hello everyone. It's clearly that you're looking for some alternatives to most used software over Windows, such as Adobe and also Affinity products, which are pretty much the standard overall within a lot of professional work. However, we are going to have a look of a few options that personally I have used over the past couple of years. And I'm very happy how they work. And basically, I mostly didn't need the other software either, such as Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, or even Affinity Designer and Photo, which I own those licenses. I still think they're great software, but the problem is I've switched to Linux and those do not really work. There are some workarounds, but I've tested it all and it's not really working very well generally. However, there is a question of mentality eventually if you want to explore new things, and you'll be very surprised to what you're going to find. So let's start off with GIMP. GIMP is it's a genuine image manipulation program. It's an open software under the FOSS license, which is free open source software, something that we talked in the previous video. This is a good replacement for, in generally, Adobe Photo and Adobe Photoshop. You can actually even do vector work with it. As you can see in some of the examples, you can do digital painting, you can do photo manipulation, and of course you can build graphic design elements, vector or just raster. So that's not an issue with it. It's free and downloadable. That's no problem. It works also for Windows and also for Linux. So that's not a big problem. For example, if you want to see, I'll show you, because I do have installed the software. This 2.10 version, as you can see, is also very fast to load. I'll just generate a new file here, and let's just paint some things. Works pretty nice. So you can have tons and tons of stuff with it. What else is there? Amazing. Anyway, this software works very well, as said, with photo editing and digital painting and doing some, vector work. Go ahead and check it out. You'll see what I'm talking about. Now, the second option would be also Inkscape, but let's not think about it necessarily in options. Let's think in all these softwares complementary. If you look at Adobe Landscape or Affinity, you see they have Affinity Designer, Photo, and Publisher. You have Adobe Photoshop, Illustrator, InDesign, so forth. So think of this as complementary software, not necessarily alternative. Now Inkscape, it's one of the best software in Linux that you can do illustration. As you can see here, and look at this. People, when they see this kind of thing, like, oh, it's definitely done with Illustrator. No, actually, this is Inkscape. Again, another free software under the FOSS license as well. And people are doing pretty interesting things with it. I strongly recommend it. I've used it before. I've done some logo work with it. But you can explore and see what interesting things people are building. I mean, if you are into Illustrates design, like you can see here, I find this very amazing, to be honest. Yeah, it's really good. Any kind of artwork you want to create as a vector, this is the tool that you should be using. Again, I have it installed as well. It's again loading extremely fast. It's a pretty old software that you can use, about 20 years long. So out of the box, you can do printing, ready made and scaled. You can do some video work, social things like Facebook cover. So they have done pretty good work with it, right? For example, let's say do something like this, and then there you go. You are inside here. You can start build shapes. You can do any kind of interesting work with it. I'm sorry. I'm doing stupid things around here. Talking and presenting, not the best thing that I'm working with it. So you can create, you know, a lot of interesting things, including 3D object shapes. And it's really top-notch software, and I strongly recommend you should go ahead and fool around with it. Again, go ahead, explore what they have in the community, see how people are using them, and just go ahead and install it and then work with it. You have a lot of stuff here as well. As you can see, they have some tutorials, show you how you build logos, effects, abstract shapes, and so forth. So I really strongly recommend it. With this, you'd be more than capable to build anything you usually build with Adobe Illustrator or Affinity design. As much as I love those tools, unfortunately they're not available in original form, and they're not intended for use with Linux. Such a sad story. They could have seized the moment. Now, Scribus is your replacement for what is Adobe InDesign and Affinity Publisher. With this tool, it's guaranteed to have no problems when you send things to printing, because really, that's what it does. Its color accuracy is great. It's used in a lot of the worldwide reliable printing ecosystem, so you will make no mistake if you would go with it. It's also, you know, you have this kind of story. You can read about it, see who is the team about it, you know, if you want to support them, and so forth. So, for example, if I am to say Scribus online, I'm just gonna look at the images. The people that, you know, post this kind of stuff. Let's see all sizes, maybe look at large. So you can see some options. This is what I'm talking about. So as you can see, people are building books, you know, what have you, that you need to be printed and then sent to professional printing. That's what you would use this software for. So that's pretty much it. Go ahead and explore it. If you're working with printing, then you're good to go. Krita is a much more specialized tool towards digital painting. You can think of it as a Adobe Photoshop or a Affinity, you know, photo, or even some products from Corel. Again, it's a free to use software. It's under the FOSS license as well, if I'm not mistaken. As you can see, people are creating extremely amazing art, and you'd make no mistake if you would go with Krita as well. I do have it installed. Sorry, Krita. Again, it's a pretty amazing software to use, and, you know, to follow around with it. So all this software is not something new. They have a long history of incremental development. So as you see, Inkscape 20 years, this one is 25. GIMP, it's also just as long. So, you know, just install it, fool around, see how this works. Let's see, new. I can do any. Oh, this is the amazing part. I can also do some parts of animation with it, which is quite nice. Comic kind of templates, design templates. Basically anything you can, you know, desire. And you have also paints, things. Of course, you have different kind of brushes. You know, for example, I think it's no. You see, we're having some fun here. Of course, this is quite large, but it doesn't really matter. The point is that you see this works just as fine. And you notice they're pretty snappy and pretty fast. That's the advantage of working with Linux. So go ahead, see what people are doing with it. You have also a section with features, so you can actually see what they're doing and if this is something worth your time. You have no trials, no subscription. Of course, it's not limiting your creativity. And this is something that a lot of people do not really seem to understand. Because if you ask me, hey, okay, cool, why did you move to Linux and why did you eventually moved away from Windows and so forth. Just in short, here's the thing. I would like to give maybe $10 a year, or I know, something like that from time to time to an open source community which builds a software that their code can be verified by the large community to make sure that they don't, put spyware in it. They don't do any shenanigans behind the back. And then I don't remember in the history of mankind having attacks for you being creative. Because imagine this, you're working, you put into this, let's say, about a week worth of your time. But imagine that this took you about 5 years of your life to get to this level of creativity and invest these skills. Who is, allowed to charge you for being creative? Hey, if you want to create, if you want to access your work, you have to give us $20 a month. Is this normal? No, I don't think it's normal. And now you see my point. So anyway, getting back to this, people are building amazing stuff with it. Just check it out. As you can see, they also have animation built in, so you can do all kind of imaginative work you want to do. But Krita in general is really good with painting, and of course you can do other stuff as well, like digital marketing, design, and so forth, building business cards if you want. But at least now you know what's about it. They also have like a shop here. If you want to maybe buy some different things like painting, what do you call so you have some training, and other options here that you can feel free to explore. But the software itself is free, and they have a large community. So go ahead, download it, play with it, see what it does. Now, for those of you who are using, they're doing user experience design, especially user interface. I was using before heavily stuff like Illustrator and then Designer. Later on, I've switched to something like Figma. So, the same story with Figma. The problem is you have to pay. If you don't pay, you don't access your work any longer. It's not the case with this piece of software, which comes from Inkscape. It says here Inkscape is the company, and the software is called Lunacy. You can get it from Snap Store, but you can also get it from Flatpak, which is from FlatHub store. Because I'm saying here, if I am to look for Lunacy, technically we should find it without any kind of problem. So you have that option as well. Now, what is Lunacy? As this video is already presenting to you, it's something, like I said, it's a design tool meant for user experience professionals. It's very easy to design websites, web mobile application, tablet application, and so forth. I've used it also for many other parts, as I'm about to show you. How versatile the software is, trust me, it is very, very versatile. But let's start with the nice part. You look here, you can also import from Figma, any kind of stuff. It's not only from Figma, you can import it from other parts as well. They have real-time collaborations and many other options that you would most likely be used to Figma. So that's pretty good. As you can see, you can do a lot of stuff, and I'll show you the software just shortly, so you can see what kind of stuff you do. So question would be, if it is free, how do they make money? Basically, they sell icons, illustration, photos, and UI kits. That's it. On top of that, you have an option with the cloud, which is about $4 a month. If you want to do collaboration with multiple people, then you would use the cloud version, and that's, it's fair and square. However, you can still export everything you have on cloud and save it as locally and then open it as a local file. So still, it's a mega win. But imagine this software is free to use and it's really good. How good it is? Let me show you a bit. So I've been working with Lunacy for the past couple of years. It's something I'm doing. This is the logo of my business. It's made with Lunacy. And look at this stuff. You can do these kind of things. You see, this digital, it's not very difficult to do and to build. If I am to look at the object, I can even do this kind of stuff. It's not difficult to work with it. It's just certain settings, and it's pretty powerful to build amazing, digital art and vector. This one is vector as well. As you can see, I have applied also filters for like neon-like effect. You have gradients, all sorts of things you can imagine from this kind of software. But look at this. This is what I mean, it's just a small things which I'm able to show to you. These are websites that I built with this application. So I can build this kind of stuff. Normally you say, oh, you need Photoshop, you need Illustrator or Figma. No, actually, it's part of these graphics here that you see. Some of them I've done it with Inkscape and then imported here as graphics. Some of them actually even done it only with Figma. Most of it is with Figma, just very small things that I wanted to import. If I want to, work with photo and do some crazy stuff, then I would use something like Krita or GIMP to, modify the images and then import it here. So granted, you can do these kind of things. Again, in here, all these things, it's built within Figma directly. You see this, including these logos and all these graphics. This is built 100% in Lunacy. So again, I don't need Figma, I don't need Adobe products, and I definitely don't need Affinity. And I'm really sorry for Affinity because I invested a lot of money into the products. Over the years, I purchased some of the licenses, and I was kind of saddened a bit that just they're not considering to move towards Linux as well. I'll open this topic maybe some other time. But now moving to Linux, I'm super okay with it. So yeah, as you can see, you can build websites. Again, more examples of websites and user interface. So this software is very capable. How about this? This is the logo of the channel. It is vector made. Really? I mean, really. It's vector made, and I've created some linear effects here. As you can see, I can fool around with this and make it more prominent. In future, maybe I will just change things. So there we go. There you go. You can make a logo. You can export assets for your channel and so forth, including the thumbnails I'm building for the videos. I'm just using Lunacy as well. Amazing, no? That's an amazing kind of thing. So also kind of some work I've done for a client. Again, as you can see, this is vector as well. You can build a lot of stuff, and you can do logos with it. I'm not joking. I'm using Lunacy a lot because it's very fast. And then if I want to build extremely complex things, then I jump into Inkscape. So as you can see, it's really good. Anyway, let's get back to it. Right, so now you know about Lunacy. You can go and install it and really start working today with it. And one more thing I want to show you about Lunacy, because this is pretty mind-blowing. How about I show you something like here, photos. So I'm just gonna take a photo like this one, put it here, and remove background. Wait up for a moment. That's it. The background is not there any longer because they're using some AI behind the scene. How amazing is this? And a free software. Guys, I'm telling you, welcome to Linux. and free and open source software alternatives. And it's really a great one. So anyway, as you can see, we have for macOS, Windows, and Linux. If you still want to cling to any of those two systems, you have the options there to go and get it, but I'm on Linux. Now, for those of you who work with raw images, this is your replacement for something like Adobe Light something, I forgot the name of it. Lightbox, I think it was called. I can't really remember anyway, because it's been years and years since I've since I've stopped using those things. So this is literally your software for working with raw digital photos. Apply filters, and it's in a non-destructive way. Adjust your images, do color schemes, whatever you want. So it's a really good one if you are a professional photographer, or you just need adjustments done well before you import your image in something like Lunacy or Krita or whatever. You can go ahead and use this if the image is in RAW format, and I'm pretty much sure they support also other formats. So then again, you have this one is raw Therapee. It's a free cross-platform raw image. And then again, you have it also for Windows, pardon me, macOS and Linux. But we're on Linux, so Darktable is the other option, which is I think just as well done. Again, open source photography workflow for all developers. You're a photographer, go ahead and install it, use it. I'm not sure if it's on Linux, I'm sorry, it's on Windows available or macOS, but for Linux it's quite sure. Now, are you an animator? You like to do 2D or pixel art? The Libresprite, and there is also a paid sprite version, is pretty much the default standard. It's used widely on many games that actually building pixel art. So it is free. Go ahead, use it. It tells you all about the features. You have resources. If you want, all sorts of assets for it. Go ahead. I mean, with Libresprite, let's say Libresprite large. So you can see people are building, and animate characters. This is where you do the animation. You see, you have the layer in between transition, and then you manually actually move these kind of things. If I were to say not all types, but animated GIF, and look at this. This is built with the software I just told you. So people, they can do this kind of stuff. Moving and building animation. That's what it does, man. We can spend tons and tons of time looking at this, but this is built within the software. So go ahead, check them out. They also have, I think, a Discord channel, which is a place I'm recommending you to go to. If you have some kids and you just want them to fool around and do very simple stuff, go ahead and start KolourPaint. That's your default, and there are tons of other things I'll show you at the end. Now, if you're a 3D animator, designer, modeler, Blender is one of those industry standards that is also an open source. I mean, literally, whatever you think you can build with any other 3D software out there, which you pay heavily, you can do it with Blender. If you're new to this, yes, this might come off a shock maybe, but most of people who work in this field, they know about the 3D tool. So really, it is an amazing tool. If you want to check it out, go ahead, see what it is about, see how many interesting things are people doing with it. They actually use it for movie production, gaming production, architecture production, rendering and so forth, marketing, design, you name it. So it's really a professional standard. For those of you who work within video editing, DaVinci Resolve, it's one of those software that has been using a AAA games industry, top-notch movie releases. Anything you can imagine, this software does it at the professional level, literally at the professional level. As you can see, all these movie productions are, large names of studios are using this software. And funny as it is, it works on Linux as well, and it is also free. They have the community version. They also have a paid version, which is only one-time pay. As you can see here, $295. To be honest, for this software, I find it to be a really bargain. That's the nature of things of commerce. I give you some money, you give me a product, the product is mine, I use it forever. That's it. You don't have to extort me forever and ever. So anyway, go ahead, see what it's about. I'm actually using DaVinci Resolve as well. But I'm also using OpenShot and OBS recording programs. Now, for those of you OBS, let's go here because I forgot to bring this up. So if you want to record your screens or you're doing training tutorials, or I don't know, for whichever reason, you use OBS Studio. And also, if you want to have a simpler version than the DaVinci Resolve, it's OpenShot. That's what it's called, openshot.org. It's built pretty much the same people from OBS Studio. And again, you can do video editing, but in a much more simplistic way. Now, if you go to FlatHub, as I was saying, because I was kind of recommending this as a main tool to install stuff, and you go to graphics and photography, you'll find a lot more software. Now, feel free to invest time to go through everything here, because you'll find a lot of amazing tools that you may have not considered before. They're free, and you can do tons of stuff with them. And this is another one for animation. But anyway, that's pretty much it, guys. Again, as a short recap, you have GIMP, you have Inkscape, Scribus, Krita, Lunacy, Therapee, Darktable, Libresprite, Screenshot, Blender, DaVinci Resolve, OpenShot, and Open Broadcast, which is OBS Studio. And with this, my friends, I think it's a wrap. Thanks for hanging around until the end of the video. If you like to subscribe and like the videos, feel free to share it as well. It is very much appreciated. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you.